Hi, my name is Jenny Buckley, and today we're going to talk about how to write a good introductory paragraph and a conclusion paragraph for your multi-paragraph essays. Let's begin with a good introduction. A good introduction includes three things. First, it includes a hook. A hook is something that's going to grab your audience's attention and prepare them for your topic to get them interested. Second, your introduction needs to have some background information. What does your audience need to know about the topic of your essay? The title of the text, the author. You should for sure summarize the main events, important characters, or other important information. If you're writing about a novel, think of it this way. You're talking to someone who has read the novel but a long time ago, so you need to fill them in on the broad aspects of the plot to jog their memory. If you're writing about nonfiction, make sure you go over the major aspects of the topic before getting on to your third part of your introduction, which is the thesis. Your thesis makes a claim that you will then prove in your essay. Let's go back to the hook. There's many ways to start a hook, but here's some common hooks. You could start with a quotation, something somebody said, a question, a real-world connection, or a fact or statistic. Here are some examples. First, here's a quotation. School uniforms are an overwhelming success at Cherry Hill Elementary School in Baltimore, Maryland. Geraldine Smallwood, the principal, said, "Attendance is up, suspensions are down, children are more focused on schoolwork, fights are less frequent, and test scores are going up." I took a quote from a magazine article that I was using to research my topic and used it as the first thing to grab my audience's attention. Another way to do a quote is to quote someone famous. Here's a quote from JFK. JFK once said, "The unity of freedom has never relied on the uniformity of opinion." Here's a way to start with a question. Have you ever stood in front of your closet before getting ready for school and questioned what you were going to wear that day? Finally, here's a real-world connection, school uniforms. Students live in a customizable world where individuality is valued in everything from phone covers to custom cars to made-to-order drinks at Starbucks. So I took the issue of school uniforms and tried to apply it to a real-world situation. Here's a fact or a statistic. 7%, or a total of $900 million of all U.S. spending on children's clothing in 1998 went towards school uniforms. So, now that I've looked at my common hooks, quotation, question, real-world connection, or fact or statistic, I think I'm going to go with a real-world connection. I like the way that begins. Next, I'll move on to background information. You can presume that your audience has read the text or is somewhat familiar with the issue, so you're going to highlight the information that will support your thesis. For example, if I'm going to argue against school uniforms, then I need to remind my audience about both sides of the issue. So you'll see in gray my hook that I decided on. Students live in a customizable world where individuality is valued in everything from phone covers to custom cars to made-to-order drinks at Starbucks. The next section, the bold section, is some background information I could include on this issue. The same goes for life in school. While students value the freedom of choosing what they wear to school, there are many administrators and parents who argue that school uniforms would help solve many school problems. Finally, we need to end with a thesis. This makes a claim about our topic, and we're going to prove this claim in our essay. So here is my thesis. School uniforms infringe upon students' First Amendment rights to freedom of expression. Now that's good, but it's not as specific as I want it to be, so I'm going to add one more sentence. Notice how I transition from my background information to my thesis. Let's back up a little bit. Students live in a customizable world where individuality is valued in everything from phone covers to custom cars to made-to-order drinks at Starbucks. The same goes for life in school. While students value the freedom of choosing what they wear to school, there are many administrators and parents who argue that school uniforms would help solve many school problems. However, the negatives of school uniforms outweigh the positive benefits. School uniforms infringe upon students' First Amendment rights to freedom of expression. Notice in my background information that I talk about the pros and the cons, and then I state my position for this essay, which is that the negatives outweigh the positives. Stay tuned for the next screencast, which will talk about how to write a good conclusion to your essay.